I was pregnant with my first child when my entire world shattered in a doctor's office. I'm Claire Bennett, and this is the story of how one ultrasound revealed the most devastating betrayal imaginable, and how I turned that pain into the most calculated revenge of my life. My name is Claire Bennett. I'm 32 years old, and until 6 months ago, I thought I had the perfect life. I was a 5th grade teacher in Portland, Oregon. I had a beautiful home in the suburbs. And I had Derek, my husband of 5 years, who I believed was my soulmate. We met at a charity gala 7 years ago. Derek was charming, successful, attentive. He owned a consulting firm that helped startups secure funding. He was always traveling for work, always networking, always busy. But when he was home, he made me feel like the center of his universe. We got married after 2 years of dating. The wedding was perfect. Our life together was perfect. Or so I thought. We started trying for a baby 3 years into our marriage. Month after month, the pregnancy tests came back negative. I started to worry something was wrong with me. Derek was supportive, patient, loving. "It'll happen when it's meant to happen," he'd say, holding me when I cried. Then, in January of this year, it finally happened. 2 pink lines. I was pregnant. Derek cried when I told him. He picked me up and spun me around, laughing and crying at the same time. "We're going to be parents," he kept saying. "We're finally going to be parents." The first trimester was hard. Morning sickness, exhaustion, anxiety. But Derek was there for everything. He brought me ginger tea. He rubbed my feet. He talked to my belly every night before bed. "I can't wait to meet you, little one," he'd whisper. I scheduled my first ultrasound for April 15th. 12 weeks pregnant. The day we'd finally see our baby. The night before, Derek got a call. "Emergency meeting with investors," he said, looking genuinely disappointed. "I'm so sorry, Claire. I know how important this is. But this deal could make or break the company. I have to go." I was disappointed, but I understood. Derek worked hard. His business was important. "It's okay," I said, kissing him. "I'll record everything. You won't miss a thing." The next morning, I drove to Dr. Sarah Chen's office alone. The waiting room was full of pregnant women, some with their partners, some alone like me. I felt a pang of sadness that Derek wasn't there, but I pushed it aside. I'd show him the video later. When they called my name, I followed the nurse into the ultrasound room. Dr. Chen was already there, a kind-looking Asian American woman in her mid-40s. "First ultrasound?" she asked, smiling warmly. "Yes," I said, lying back on the examination table. "I'm so nervous and excited." "That's completely normal," she said, squeezing gel onto my belly. "Let's meet your baby." The screen flickered to life, and there it was. A tiny form, barely recognizable as human, but unmistakably alive. A rapid heartbeat pulsed on the screen. "Oh my God," I whispered, tears streaming down my face. "That's my baby." "That's your baby," Dr. Chen confirmed, moving the wand to get different angles. But then I noticed something strange. Dr. Chen's smile had faded. She was staring at the screen with an intensity that made my stomach drop. She moved the wand again, checking something, then checking it again. Her face went pale. "Is something wrong?" I asked, panic rising in my throat. "Is the baby okay?" Dr. Chen was silent for a long moment. Then she turned off the machine and set down the wand. She pulled up a chair and sat beside me, and the look in her eyes made my blood run cold. "Claire," she said carefully, "the baby is perfectly healthy. But I need to ask you something. Your husband, what's his full name?" "Derek Bennett," I said, confused and terrified. "Why? What's wrong?" Dr. Chan closed her eyes for a moment, as if making a difficult decision. When she opened them, they were filled with something I couldn't quite identify. Urgency. Fear. Anger. "Claire, what I'm about to tell you violates doctor-patient confidentiality. I could lose my medical license for this. But as a doctor, as a woman, I cannot stay silent. My heart was pounding. What are you talking about? You need to divorce your husband, she said bluntly. Right now. Before it's too late. I laughed nervously. What? That's insane. Why would you say that? Because, Dr. Chen said, her voice shaking slightly, I recognized something in your ultrasound. Specific genetic markers that I saw recently in another ultrasound. Claire, this isn't your husband's first baby. There's another woman. She's 14 weeks pregnant. And she's in my office right now. In the room next door. The world stopped. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. That's not possible, I whispered. Derek wouldn't do that. We've been trying for a baby for 2 years. He's so excited. He's excited about both babies, Dr. Chen interrupted gently. Claire, the other woman, her name is Jessica. She also thinks Derek is the perfect husband. She also thinks this is their first baby together. But when I saw your ultrasound today, I saw the same rare genetic characteristics I saw in hers 2 weeks ago. The same fetal birthmark. The same bone structure. These babies are siblings. Half-siblings. I felt like I was going to vomit. You're sure? I'm sure, Dr. Chen said. And there's more. When Jessica filled out her paperwork, she listed Derek Bennett as the father. Same name. Same birth date that's in your file. Same emergency contact number. Claire, your husband is living a double life. I started shaking uncontrollably. I need to confront him. I need to. No, Dr. Chen said firmly. Not yet. First, you need evidence. You need a lawyer. You need to protect yourself and your baby. Men who live double lives are dangerous when they're exposed. I don't understand, I whispered. How is this possible? We live together. We sleep in the same bed every night. How can he have another pregnant woman? Business trips. Dr. Chen suggested. Late meetings. Weekends away. I thought about it. Derek traveled constantly for work. He had meetings several nights a week. He spent entire weekends at conferences. Oh my God, I breathed. He said he had a meeting today. That's why he couldn't come to the ultrasound. He's probably with Jessica right now, Dr. Chen said softly. Claire, I know this is devastating. But you need to be strategic. Don't confront him yet. Gather evidence. Hire a lawyer. Protect your assets. And then, when you have everything in place, destroy him. I looked at Dr. Chen, tears streaming down my face. Why are you telling me this? You said you could lose your license. Because, Dr. Chen said, her voice thick with emotion, 3 years ago, I was in your position. My ex-husband had another family. Another wife. Other children. I didn't find out until it was too late. He drained our bank accounts. He left me with debt. I won't let that happen to you. Not if I can stop it. I took a shaky breath. What do I do? First, Dr. Chen said, you act normal. You go home. You don't say anything to Derek. You smile. You pretend everything is fine. Meanwhile, you document everything. You hire a private investigator. You hire a divorce attorney. You protect your finances. And when you have enough evidence, you destroy him. I wiped my tears. Something inside me shifted. The trusting, gentle woman began to disappear, replaced by something colder. More calculating. How much time do I have? I asked. Jessica is 14 weeks pregnant, Dr. Chen said. You're 12 weeks. Both babies will be born about 2 months apart. You have roughly 6 months before this becomes impossible to hide. Use that time wisely. I nodded. I will. Thank you, Dr. Chen, for telling me. For risking your license. Women need to support each other, Dr. Chen said. especially against men like Derek. I left the office in a daze. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, trying to process. My perfect husband. My perfect marriage. All of it was a lie. Then I picked up my phone and searched, Best Private Investigator, Portland, Oregon. I hired Marcus Webb that same afternoon. He was an ex-police detective with 25 years of experience in infidelity cases. His office was small and cluttered, filled with filing cabinets and surveillance equipment. "Tell me everything," Marcus said, leaning back in his chair. I told him about the ultrasound, about the other pregnant woman, about Derek's travels and meetings. Marcus took notes, his expression never changing. "This is more common than you'd think," he said. "Men living double lives. Sometimes triple lives. I'll need a few weeks to gather solid evidence. Meanwhile, you cannot let him know you suspect anything." "I can do that," I said, my voice cold and steady. "I also recommend you consult a divorce attorney," Marcus said. "Start protecting your assets now." I hired an attorney that same day. Linda Morrison was a fierce divorce lawyer known for destroying cheating husbands in court. Her office was sleek and modern, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. "You did the right thing coming to me early," Linda said, shaking my hand. "Let's start documenting all your finances. Bank accounts, investments, properties, everything. If he's living a double life, he's spending money somewhere. We'll find it." That night, I went home. Derek was there, smiling, excited. "How was the ultrasound?" he asked, kissing me. "Sorry I couldn't make it. The meeting ran longer than expected." I forced a smile. "It was perfect. The baby is healthy. I recorded it for you." I showed him the video on my phone. Derek watched, tears in his eyes. "That's our baby," he whispered. "I love you so much." I looked at him and saw a stranger. A liar. A betrayer. "I love you too," I lied. Over the next few days, I acted completely normal. I cooked dinners. I smiled. I talked about baby names and nursery decorations. I had sex with Derek when he wanted. And secretly, I documented everything. I checked bank statements and found strange withdrawals. Payments to an apartment I didn't know about. Purchases at stores in neighborhoods we never visited. I checked his phone when he was sleeping. I found deleted text messages, but I recovered them using software Marcus gave me. Messages to Jess. Love messages. Messages about the baby. I checked his laptop and found emails. Emails to Jessica about doctor's appointments. About baby names. About their future together. Each discovery was a knife to the heart. But I didn't cry. I documented. I took photos. I saved everything. Marcus started following Derek. Within a week, he discovered that Derek had an apartment in the Pearl District, an upscale neighborhood across town. Derek spent 3 nights a week there. With Jessica. Marcus took photos. Derek and Jessica having dinner. Derek and Jessica holding hands. Derek kissing Jessica's pregnant belly. "He's living 2 complete lives," Marcus reported to me in his office. "He has clothes in both places. He has routines in both places. He's splitting his time equally between you and her." "Does she know about me?" I asked. "No," Marcus said. "I investigated Jessica too. She thinks Derek is a business consultant who travels a lot. She has no idea he's married." I felt a strange solidarity with Jessica. We were both victims. "I want to meet her," I said suddenly. "What?" Marcus looked surprised. "Jessica. I want to meet her. Without Derek knowing. I need to see who she is." Marcus hesitated. "That's risky." "I don't care," I said. "Set it up." A week later, I accidentally ran into Jessica at a coffee shop. Marcus had discovered that Jessica went to this particular coffee shop every Tuesday morning. I sat at the table next to hers. Jessica was there, pregnant, glowing, reading a book about pregnancy. Excuse me, I said, smiling. I couldn't help but notice. You're pregnant. Me too. How far along are you? Jessica smiled warmly. 14 weeks. You? 12. I lied. I was actually 16 weeks now, but I didn't want Jessica to make the connection. Is this your first? Yes, Jessica said excitedly. My fiancé and I are so excited. Fiancé? I repeated, my heart sinking. Yes, Jessica said, showing me a ring. A ring I recognized. It was identical to the engagement ring Derek had given me 6 years ago. Beautiful, I forced myself to say. We talked for 20 minutes. Jessica told me about Derek, her wonderful fiancé who worked in business consulting. About how they met 3 years ago at a networking event. About how he proposed 6 months ago. I listened, mentally documenting every detail. When we said goodbye, Jessica said, it was so nice meeting you. Maybe we can meet up again. It's nice to have pregnant friends. I'd love that, I said, smiling. I left the coffee shop and threw up in the bathroom. Not from morning sickness. From rage. Derek wasn't just cheating. He was living 2 complete lives. 2 fiancés. 2 babies. 2 families. And neither of us knew. I went back to Linda, the attorney. He proposed to her, I said. He gave her a ring. He's planning to marry her. He can't, Linda said. He's already married to you. That would be bigamy. He doesn't care, I said. He thinks he can do whatever he wants. Then let's show him he's wrong, Linda said. You have enough evidence now. It's time to act. But I shook my head. Not yet. I want more. I want to destroy him completely. I want him to lose everything. Linda smiled. I like the way you think. Over the next month, I became someone I didn't recognize. By day, I was the perfect wife. I smiled at Derek. I cooked his favorite meals. I talked about the nursery we'd set up. I let him feel the baby kick. By night, I was a detective. I went through every document in our house. I found a second phone hidden in Derek's car. I cloned it using software Marcus provided. I read every message, every email, every call log. The depth of Derek's deception was staggering. He had been with Jessica for 3 years. 3 years of lies. He told her he traveled for work, just like he told me. He spent Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights with her. Tuesday, Thursday, and weekends with me. He had a complete wardrobe at her apartment. He had photos of them together on his hidden phone. He had told her he loved her, that she was his soulmate, that he couldn't wait to start a family with her. The same things he told me. I also discovered something else. Derek had been siphoning money from our joint accounts. Small amounts at first, then larger ones. He'd moved over $50,000 into a separate account I didn't know about. He's preparing to leave you, Linda said when I showed her the evidence. He's building a nest egg so he can start fresh with Jessica. Or he's planning to keep both of us, I said. Living 2 lives permanently. That's not sustainable, Linda said. Eventually, the babies will be born. He can't be in 2 places at once. He'll figure something out, I said bitterly. He's been doing this for 3 years. He's good at lying. Then we need to act before the babies are born, Linda said. We need to strike while you still have the element of surprise. But I had a different plan. I want to wait, I said. I want both babies to be born. I want him to think he's gotten away with it. And then I want to destroy him in the most public, humiliating way possible. Linda raised an eyebrow. What do you have in mind? I told her my plan. Linda's eyes widened. That's brilliant, she said. And absolutely devastating. Good, I said. He deserves devastating. The next few months were the hardest of my life. I was 7 months pregnant, then 8, then 9. My body was changing, my emotions were all over the place, and I was living with a man I despised. But I never let it show. Derek was attentive as my due date approached. He set up the nursery. He went to birthing classes with me. He held my hand during Braxton Hicks contractions. "I can't wait to meet our baby," he'd say, kissing my belly. And I'd smile and say, "Me too." But inside, I was counting down the days until I could destroy him. Marcus kept me updated on Jessica. She was 8 months pregnant now, due about 6 weeks after me. Derek was doing the same things with her. Setting up a nursery. Going to birthing classes. Being the perfect partner. "He's going to try to be at both births," Marcus said. "That's going to be interesting." "I'm counting on it," I said. My daughter was born on October 3rd. Labor was long and painful, but when they placed her in my arms, I felt a love so fierce it took my breath away. "She's perfect," Derek said, tears streaming down his face. "Our little girl is perfect." We named her Emma. Derek stayed at the hospital for 2 days, barely leaving my side. He was the picture of a devoted father. But on the 3rd day, his phone rang. I watched his face go pale. "I have to take this," he said, stepping into the hallway. I knew what it was. Jessica was in labor. When Derek came back, he looked stressed. "Emergency at work," he said. "I have to go handle something. I'll be back as soon as I can." "Okay," I said sweetly. "Don't worry about us. We'll be fine." Derek kissed me and Emma, then left. I immediately called Marcus. "Follow him," I said. "I want photos of everything." Marcus called me 6 hours later. "Jessica had a boy," he said. "Derek was there for the birth. He's at the hospital with her now." "Perfect," I said. "Send me the photos." The photos arrived on my phone. Derek holding a newborn baby boy. Derek kissing Jessica. Derek looking at his son with the same love he'd shown Emma. I saved every photo. Derek came back to our hospital the next morning, looking exhausted. "Sorry," he said. "The work emergency took all night." "It's okay," I said. "We missed you, but we understand." We brought Emma home a week later. Derek was a devoted father. He changed diapers, did night feedings, rocked Emma to sleep. And 3 nights a week, he disappeared to do the same things with Jessica and their son. I knew because Marcus was still following him. I had photos of Derek holding both babies. Photos of him in both homes. Photos of him living 2 complete lives. "When are you going to act?" Linda asked me. "Soon," I said. "I'm waiting for the perfect moment." That moment came in December. Derek's company was hosting a major gala, a fundraiser for local startups. It was a huge event, with over 300 people attending. Business leaders, investors, journalists. Derek had been planning it for months. "This is the biggest night of my career," he told me. "Everyone who's anyone in Portland business will be there." "I'm so proud of you," I said, smiling. What Derek didn't know was that I had also invited someone. Jessica. I'd stayed in touch with her over the past few months. We'd become friends, bonding over our babies. She had no idea I was Derek's wife. To her, I was just Claire, another new mom she'd met at a coffee shop. "There's this amazing business gala happening," I told her during one of our coffee dates. "My husband's company is hosting it. You should come. Bring Derek. It would be great for his consulting business." Jessica's face lit up. "That sounds amazing. I'll ask Derek." I knew Derek would say no. He couldn't risk Jessica and me being in the same place. But I had a backup plan. "Actually," I said, "why don't you surprise him? Show up in a beautiful dress. Show him you're supportive of his career. Men love that." Jessica loved the idea. "That's perfect. He's been so stressed with work lately. This will cheer him up." The night of the gala, I wore a stunning red dress. Derek wore a tuxedo. We arrived together, the perfect couple. You look beautiful, Derek said, kissing me. Thank you for being here. I wouldn't miss it, I said. The gala was elegant. Chandeliers, champagne, a live orchestra. Derek worked the room, shaking hands, making connections. I stayed by his side, playing the supportive wife. And then, at exactly 8 p.m., Jessica walked in. She wore a blue dress, her hair styled beautifully. She looked around the room, searching for Derek. I watched Derek's face when he saw her. All the color drained from it. He looked like he was going to be sick. Jessica spotted him and smiled, walking over. Surprise, she said, kissing him. I wanted to support you tonight. Derek couldn't speak. He just stood there, frozen. Jessica turned to me, still smiling. Claire, I didn't know you'd be here. This is my fiancé, Derek. Derek, this is my friend Claire I told you about. I smiled warmly. Actually, Jessica, I think there's been a misunderstanding. I turned to Derek. Honey, aren't you going to introduce me to your friend? Derek's mouth opened and closed, but no sound came out. Jessica looked confused. Honey, she repeated. Claire, what are you talking about? I held up my left hand, showing my wedding ring. I'm Claire Bennett, I said clearly. Derek's wife. The color drained from Jessica's face. What? We've been married for 6 years, I continued. And this is our daughter, Emma. She's 2 months old. I pulled out my phone and showed Jessica a photo of Derek holding Emma in the hospital. Jessica looked at the photo, then at Derek, then at me. This is a joke, she whispered. Derek, tell her this is a joke. Derek still couldn't speak. It's not a joke, I said gently. Derek has been living a double life. He's been with both of us. He has 2 families, 2 babies, 2 lives. Jessica started shaking. No, that's not possible. We're engaged. We have a son together. We're planning our wedding. So were we, I said. 6 years ago. People around us were starting to notice. The room was getting quieter. I don't understand, Jessica said, tears streaming down her face. Derek, say something. Tell her she's wrong. Derek finally found his voice. Jessica, I can explain. Explain what? Jessica's voice was rising. Explain how you have a wife. Explain how you have another baby. Explain how everything you told me was a lie. The entire gala had gone silent now. 300 people were watching. Jessica, please, Derek said, reaching for her. Not here. Let's go somewhere private. No, Jessica shouted. You don't get to do this in private. You don't get to hide anymore. She turned to the crowd. This man is a liar. He told me he loved me. He told me we were going to get married. He told me our son was his first child. And all of it was a lie. The room erupted in whispers. People pulled out their phones, recording. Derek's face was bright red. Jessica, Claire, please. Let's talk about this calmly. Calmly, I said, my voice cold. You want to talk about this calmly? You've been lying to both of us for 3 years. You have 2 families. 2 babies born 6 weeks apart. You've been stealing money from our joint accounts. You proposed to Jessica while you were married to me. And you want to talk about this calmly. I pulled out a folder from my purse. I have evidence of everything. Bank statements showing the money you stole. Photos of you with both families. Text messages to both of us saying the exact same things. Emails planning your fake wedding to Jessica. All of it. I handed copies to several journalists in the crowd. I'm sure this will make a great story. Local businessman living double life. 2 pregnant women. 2 babies. 1 massive fraud. Derek lunged for the folder, but security stopped him. You can't do this, he said desperately. Claire, please. Think about Emma. Think about our family. I am thinking about Emma, I said. I'm thinking about how she deserves a father who isn't a liar and a fraud. I'm thinking about how I'm going to raise her to never accept this kind of treatment from anyone. I turned to Jessica. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. I wanted to tell you privately, but I needed witnesses. I needed proof. I needed everyone to see what kind of man he really is. Jessica was sobbing. How long have you known? Since my first ultrasound, I said. 6 months. I've been gathering evidence ever since. 6 months. Jessica whispered. You've known for 6 months and you didn't tell me? I needed to be strategic, I said. I needed to protect myself and my daughter. I needed to make sure he couldn't lie his way out of this or hide assets or disappear. I'm sorry. I know that sounds cold. But I had to think about my child first. Jessica nodded slowly. I understand. She turned to Derek, her face hard. We're done. Don't ever contact me again. My lawyer will be in touch about child support. She walked out of the gala, her head held high. I turned to Derek. My lawyer will be sending you divorce papers tomorrow. I'm taking the house, half of all assets, and full custody of Emma. You'll pay child support to both Jessica and me. And if you try to fight any of this, I'll make sure every business contact you have sees all the evidence of your fraud. Derek's career was over. By the next morning, the story was everywhere. Local news, social media, business journals. Portland businessman exposed for living double life. His clients dropped him. His investors pulled out. His company collapsed. The divorce was finalized 3 months later. I got everything I asked for. The house, half the assets, full custody. Derek was ordered to pay child support to both me and Jessica. He moved into a small apartment, his reputation destroyed, his business gone. Jessica and I stayed friends. We supported each other through the aftermath. Our children, Emma and Jackson, grew up knowing each other as half-siblings. We celebrated birthdays together, had playdates, created a family out of the wreckage Derek left behind. Do you ever regret it? Jessica asked me one day, watching our kids play in the park. Exposing him so publicly? I thought about it. No, I said. He deserved it. He thought he could have everything. 2 families, 2 lives, no consequences. He needed to learn that actions have consequences. I'm glad you told me, Jessica said. Even though it hurt. Even though it was humiliating. I'm glad I know the truth. Me too, I said. Dr. Sarah Chen, the doctor who first told me the truth, reached out after the story broke. I saw the news, she said when we met for coffee. I'm proud of you. You did what I couldn't do. You fought back. You gave me the tools to fight, I said. If you hadn't told me, I never would have known. I'd still be living a lie. I'm glad I told you, Dr. Chen said. Even though I broke confidentiality. Even though I could have lost my license. Some things are more important than rules. Did you get in trouble? I asked. No, she said. The medical board reviewed my case. They decided that warning you about Derek's deception fell under my duty to protect patient welfare. I kept my license. Good, I said. You saved me. You saved Jessica. You're a hero. Dr. Chen smiled. You're the hero. You're the one who had the courage to fight back. As I sit here today, 2 years later, I think about everything that happened. The betrayal. The lies. The pain. But I also think about the strength I found. The courage to fight back. The determination to protect my daughter. Derek tried to destroy me. He tried to have everything while giving me nothing but lies. But I turned the tables. I gathered evidence. I made a plan. And I destroyed him instead. Some people say I was too harsh. That I should have handled it privately. that I humiliated him unnecessarily. But I disagree. Derek made his choices. He chose to lie. He chose to betray. He chose to live a double life. I simply made sure he faced the consequences. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Because my daughter deserves to see that women don't have to accept betrayal. That we can fight back. That we can win. Emma is 2 years old now. She's smart, funny, beautiful. She has Derek's eyes but my determination. When she's older, I'll tell her this story. I'll tell her about the doctor who risked everything to tell me the truth. About the months I spent gathering evidence. About the night I exposed her father in front of 300 people. And I'll tell her the most important lesson I learned. Never let anyone make you feel small. Never accept lies. Never stay silent in the face of betrayal. Fight back. Gather your evidence. And when the moment is right, strike with everything you have. Because you deserve better. Your children deserve better. And men like Derek need to learn that they can't get away with destroying lives without consequences. That's my story. That's how one ultrasound changed everything. That's how I went from a trusting wife to a warrior. And I've never regretted a single moment. The doctor saw my ultrasound and begged me to get a divorce. She was right. But I didn't just get a divorce. I got justice. I got revenge. And I got my life back. And that's worth everything.